All right, we're live. Cody with the gold medal. Sophia with the silver medal. Looking good. All right, guys. Well, last week I think people really enjoyed the live. Got a lot of good reviews on that. We haven't had any questions yet. I have to talk about topics. So if you guys have those, DM us, comment in the YouTube videos. We'll see those. And comment in the live chat. We'll try to answer your questions for you guys. Harley's probably doing some type of training, getting ready for semifinals. That is going to happen Friday and Saturday of this week. Mm-hmm. So if you guys want to watch CJ, who I coach, Paige, who I also coach, Harley, I wouldn't call coaching, but I do give them feedback. And then JP on the team of 4 for Driven to Conquer CrossFit. Also a team that we coach. They will be competing at the West semifinals in Carson, California. We'll be out there trying to shoot a little bit of content, make it simple, put it up on Instagram, follow along.
Make it simple, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys watched Europe, but Mia Hesketh's complex, pretty dope, 230. But the video itself was just like really simple of her just doing the complex. I really like that. When they get so fancy, I think sometimes I try to get too fancy. I don't know.
All right.
We don't get enough engagement and likes to be out here trying to get fancy. All right. If we had like 100,000 followers, and like Rad was paying us money to wear their shoes and everything else, maybe we would.
We're on our way.
Yeah, trying. All right. Well, I think a good use of time would be a performance evaluation. We asked Sophia, who's on, if we could use her to evaluate her as an athlete. And we could go into a lot of different things as we go through this and you guys chime in, but I just want to go through, like, as a coach, how, at the end of the season, once everything's over, what we kind of look at to figure out what priorities are. Because I think this is a problem. Like, even this morning, we have a member, we're getting ready to do track stuff. And today, he was like asking, like, oh, like at the track, are you guys going to bring barbells out to do workouts at the track with barbells? And I was just like, that's not the point of like going to the track. Like, the point of going to the track is to improve our running and get better. So then when you come into the gym in the fall and there's workouts with running in it, then you will have a better time running. And then that way the subsequent work or the other pieces of the mixed modal work would be easier because you've improved your running and your endurance individually. And so it got me thinking generally, and I think about this often because people always, it's like even Train Think Tank put out the strength under fatigue module that came through, and like you guys can see it online, but then you can sign up for the strength course if that's something you're into. But then if you're in the strength course, you get it. And I was listening to some of it last night, and it's great. But I just laugh how many people say like, well, I need to do ring muscle ups under fatigue, or I have to lift under fatigue. And it's like, I mean, maybe, but have we evaluated, like, are you aerobic? Because if you're strong enough, let's say you're a male athlete and you can clean and jerk 350, and then you have a hard time moving a 225 barbell, typically, like in a Metcon, that won't necessarily happen, but sometimes it does. Typically, like, the person, like, I got to do this under fatigue. I need to like really fatigue myself and move this barbell so I can get used to lifting it under. And it's like, or you could just get more aerobic. Like, what? Like, the reason why you can't regenerate your energy is because you're not aerobic enough and your body's just not producing ATP because it doesn't know how. It's like redlined and it can't bring itself back down. And so it's one of those characteristics of like, okay, it could be the endurance. If you can't have a hard time moving 225 barbell and your max clean and jerk is 250, well, like, yeah, it's strength. Like, you got to fix the strength problem,
Yeah.
And then after let's say you're a male athlete and you run a 6-minute mile and you can clean and jerk 350, and then you have a hard time moving the 225 barbell, then maybe we should be doing some fatigue based lifting.
Right.
But you need to fix the outlier problems, the individual characteristics first. And that's not something that most people want to do. Like, when we got down to it with that member about bringing the barbells out to the track, the answer was that it's fun. And I was like, yeah, dude, wholeheartedly, it is super fun. It'd be fun to see you guys do Nancy at the track where the barbells are all lined up. You 3, 2, 1, go it, run your 400, hit your 15 overhead squats, and just rip that workout and see what that's like on a flat surface with the barbells. Like, there are a lot of really fun workouts that have running involved and a barbell that we could, get down and dirty with. But it wouldn't be fun. Let's say you're an athlete who struggles with the 15 overhead squats at 95, 65. Your 400 meter takes you 2 to 230. Like, that's not going to be a good time. Like, you'll do it because you will do hard things and you train and like you come in.
Well, and arguably that's going to be more the members than not.
Yeah. Yeah. You're just like, all right, I'm going to get after it and hammer this out. And like, versus being like, well, what was the problem, the characteristic problem? Was it the running? Was it the overhead squat? And then you should work on those independently, one at a time, and then come back to mixed modal training and see if the work that you did that was specific to fix that problem area improved your mixed modal training. And like, I think people hear this and then go, well, I just want to do the fun and CrossFit stuff. It's like, well, yeah, that's right. But like, is it really that fun? Like, what did I say this morning? Somebody else like, is it really that fun to be like sub par at something? Right. Like, you go out and you play pickleball with your friends, or you go play or we were talking about golf. Someone brought up golf. And I was like, yeah, it's not fun to not know how to hit the ball and go out there and like, it's fun because you're hanging out with people and the community aspect of it, and you're going out with your friends and golfing. But like, it's really not fun when you're standing there at the tee, or you're trying to chip the ball, like, and you can't even do it.
Yeah.
Or you do it, but it's just like, and the ball slices, or like you can't get it to the green. And like, there's just so many skills, and you're like, well, I don't want to go and hit the driving range. I don't want to go ahead and, what were you pointing at? Oh, there's a bee in the house. She's scared. She's pointing at the bee.
It's big. It's like this. Anyway, sorry, go on.
So the point of it was like, it's not super fun to like go out and do those things. Like, it is because you're with people and everything else. And I am willing to bet the same thing is true with coming into a CrossFit class. Like, it's not super fun to go and like not do very well or struggle with something over and over and over again and not know why. And the same thing is true for elite athletes who are trying to compete in the sport. You don't want to go to a competition and stand there and stare at something and have everybody watch you. Because the number one thing I hear all the time from people is like, well, I wanted to show off my hard work. Like, I've been working so hard on this and I want people to see my hard work and how hard I worked. And it's like, okay, that's true. So like, if that is true, then the other end is true too. When you're like, hey, I don't want to do this thing because I can't hit the freaking golf ball. Like, and all my friends are waiting for me, and I got to like mulligan and pick up the ball and like do whatever.
I think that's like the value of like the in-person coaching, right? I mean, I feel like a lot of people start CrossFit because it is fun and they enjoy what they're doing, but then they think they get to a point where they like want to be better, right? And and they want and because like just doing the thing is fun, like you're saying, like, I think that's like their natural tendency. Like, let's just do more CrossFit. And so that's like the value of the in-person coaching, is to actually guide them and to get them to understand that doing these things independently, even though
saying in-person coaching, you're saying one-on-one coaching?
Well, no, I just mean like in a class setting, right? Like when you're like teaching CrossFit class, it's like you need those coaches that are going to guide them and tell them that like doing these things independently, specifically in the off season, is going to get them more of what they want.
Yeah, but do they get that in a CrossFit class?
Well, not always. I'm just saying, like,
I would say never.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you don't. No.
Okay.
Class,
let me rephrase that.
You roll into
good coaching, right? And people
not
that know
even good coaching. Like, you could be the best coach in the world, but if that person needs pull-ups 3 times a week, you're never getting pull-ups 3
Sure.
times a week.
I
in a
just
CrossFit
meant it
class, let's
more
be
in the
real.
sense of like guiding people, because you see people all the time that want to come into open gym and they're like, I'm just going to do this random thing because I want to get better at it. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this thing because I want to get better at it and whatever. And I think a lot of coaching is telling those people like, no, right? And
Oh,
telling
I
them
see
like,
what you're saying.
this is what you need to be doing to get you what, because they just think that
You're
that's
saying the coaching is telling people no when
right.
they're doing
right,
something they
right,
shouldn't.
right, right.
Yeah.
Because their tendency is to take barbells to the track and that's how they're going to get better, right?
Well, at the heart of it, when we got down to it, they said it was fun. That's why
Well,
they wanna
right.
do
And
it.
CrossFit is fun and we can all
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
continue to do CrossFit because we enjoy it and it's fun.
But it was
but-
not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is like, all
right.
right, we're as a
That's what I'm
as a
getting at,
gym,
yes.
we're going to be doing the running program to improve your running mechanics, your
Right.
gait, your steps per minute, understand what running is, learn about your 400, 800 mile, and then your ability to sustain an effort along a long
Right.
period. And in CrossFit, about a 5K.
So then in November and December, when you start doing CrossFit again, it's more fun.
Yep, it'd be more fun because you can do it because you can hit the ball straight, you know,
Right.
learning how to hit the ball straight. So the hardest thing, like I think, like Heather, I didn't realize what you're getting at, but you're alluding to the guide of a coach, whether that's a
Right,
one-on-one
right.
coach or an in-person coach. It's being the person who's like, hey, like this is what you're bad at, you know, and this is the problem that you keep encountering when you do this thing. It may not be, you know, I got to do barbell work under fatigue. It's like, well, maybe like let's evaluate some things, and that's what a coach is there to do. Or it's like, my engine, I hear this all the time. My engine is terrible. Like, is it really like your engine? Because if I had you rowing a rower at zone 3 for 90 minutes, could you do it? And like, if the answer is yes, like your engine isn't actually bad. It's your maximum sustainable power. So what you're talking about is not, it is an aerobic power thing, but it's not really an engine thing. Like your aerobic system is fine. You're just not powerful enough. So what you're actually asking for is interval sessions. And then we expand the interval session so you can sustain the power that you're looking to use in the workout to express. So going from like 9 calories a minute to 12 calories a minute is what you're looking to do. That's not an engine problem. That's a maximum aerobic power problem. That's at the top end. It is the engine, but it's at the very, very tip top of the engine. Now, you may not be able to do that because you don't have aerobic base. And again, that's another piece that we'd have to evaluate. And then like, you know, we got a lot of people in the gym who are very aerobic, come from like a Orange Theory, you know, running background. They roll up in the gym and they're really fit in certain things. And then you give them a heavy barbell and everybody smashes on them, or they're able to go. They're that person that runs out the door, comes back in, they're really fast. You start giving them a heavy weight, or the calories are too many, or the turnover is like a 3-minute AMRAP and you're like 10, 10, 10 reps and calories on a machine, and everyone just smokes them. And it's one time through. Those people might actually have a strength problem, that's not allowing them to express their aerobic power because they're not powerful enough to put foot pounds into the machine or the dumbbells or barbell fast enough relative to somebody who is aerobic and powerful / strong. So it's really interesting. So like laying the foundation of those ideas and characteristics of evaluation, we're going to look at Sophia, who is going to allow us to share her information. You guys got anything to add on that though?
No.
All right. Here we go. We got Sophia up here. We'll go with the open first. 2021 was her first open, because at 14 years old, that's when you're allowed to sign up for the open. And her we'll go by worldwide rank in all of these. Her worldwide rank was 1,273rd place, 14 to 15-year-old girls. And then in 2022, she improved in the girls to 24th place.
Wild.
That's a big jump. But I mean, it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Especially in like the younger groups, right? It depends on when women and men hit puberty, where they're developing, their athlete history, what they did as a kid, as they exchange over, how much real CrossFit they're doing. Because often you're like in a CrossFit kids class and you're not, you know, I don't want to say you're not doing real CrossFit, but
We're not training.
Let's be real. I've seen some of these videos on Instagram, you playing games. There are very few. Look at Tyler's laughing. Say something, Tyler, please. Chime in here.
It's true, dude. A lot of like they bring out those little like PE like rubber discs, and they're just like standing on them and jumping back and forth from them, like CrossFit Kids.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I like the games they're playing. I like them, but they're not very few times are the programs having them learn how to squat effectively, doing some tempo stuff, work on the range of motion, hanging from a pull-up bar effectively to do actual pull-ups, not just like, oh, we're hanging from the bar. Like my wife runs a youth development class. This is what we call it because it's not CrossFit Kids. We don't call it that because that's not what it is. These programs are completely different. If you were to watch a CrossFit Kids class at a local affiliate that has one, it's nothing against those local affiliates or anything. It's just is what it is. And then you come in and you watch our youth class, you're going to see something very different. And you're going to see kids learning strength and conditioning, not CrossFit. You're going to see them learning motor control, movement patterns, explosive jumping and power, and trying to control their body in space. Can you do that stuff with games? Sure. Do the kids really understand how they translate that? No. Most of the kids, the reason why we call it like youth development, not most, all of the kids play a sport. So she will evaluate them, talk to the parents, talk about their sport and how it's going to translate into their sport. That is a very different program than CrossFit Kids. And again, I don't want to hate on people who are doing it. I love that you're doing it. Keep doing it how you do it. And I enjoy it. It's just not what we do. And with that being said, that's probably why Sophia made that jump because she went, and we didn't know her then in this time of 2021 to 2022. And she got 24th, probably because she was doing more CrossFit. I know she was doing Mayhem program with Cody and Maxwell and some other people at CrossFit Ambition. So that definitely helps, right? You start doing more CrossFit, sports specific CrossFit, you're going to improve. You get a little bit older, put some meat on your bones, as they say, and you're going to do well. So then we go into 2023, which I can't, did we? Yes, we did. We did coach her in 2023. It was the very beginnings though. We probably had maybe 6 months. I'd have to look back specifically. And 56, 16 to 17-year-old girls, which is a huge jump going from 14 to 15 to 16 to 17 years old. And, you know, at that time, like, just so you guys know, it's like Olivia Kerstetter was in there. Mal O'Brien used to be in that group. Like there's a ton of teens. You hear the stories within the CrossFit space. You know, back in the day, also Haley Adams and all these girls are starting, and Lexus Raptis, like these girls who are at the games now, you see in those groups. And there's a few of them. There's not many because obviously there's a huge depth of field there. But, you know, that's the game that Sophia's playing against is like, you know, that type of talent. And again, there's only a few of them. There are other girls that, you know, are in the mix, Sophia being one of them, who are very, very good. Just, you know, some of these one-offs are just a little bit better. Like Lucy McGonigal this year qualified for individual semifinals in Europe. She went to individual semifinals in Europe, also at the top of the heap for the teens, 16 to 17-year-old girls going to the CrossFit Games. So it is a deep, deep field. And that's something I want people just to know and understand off the bat. These girls are good, very good. And then 2024, 41st. So had a lot of success in, 2022, possibly because of the jump from, maybe going from like a kids class, she's been doing CrossFit for a long time, into like an adult class, or possibly because she made the jump to Mayhem. I'd have to double check on that. But then 56th, 41st improvement there by region. North America East girls, 8th and 18th North America East. So that's also a really cool thing to look at. In all of North America, she was 16th in 14 to 15 in 2022. There's a pretty good stats here. 16 to 17-year-old girls in the United States of America, she was 13th.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dude, there's 12 other girls better than her in all of the United States that do CrossFit. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that you want to look at when you evaluate somebody, is just find the notable things of how good they are. Because then that tells you like where we're going. This shows you a set point of like, there's only 12 other girls in the United States of America that are better than her. So like you have one of the tippity top spear people. So if like she came in for a consult and we didn't work with her and I was going to evaluate her this year and she's like, hey, I want to make the jump to team, or I want to make the jump to individual female, next year or in 2 years or 3 years, this would be something I do first. I go into their open profile and I would look at these things and, look at worldwide rank, and then region would be important because here 1,237th in North America East, assuming she doesn't move, that's a really good ranking, a really good set point. I mean, there are tons of people like, I want to try and go to semifinal individuals, and they're like 5,000th. And it's like, okay, we got some work to do. Worldwide, 4,822nd this last year. So she's sitting in a really good spot and priming herself to move up as she goes into the 18 plus year olds. And she got a good base ready to go. So that's the open. And then you go to individual quarterfinals, which this is the first year that the teens and masters, you pay for the one and you're in both, and the workouts were exactly the same. I think this was really cool because they were able to do this and show her that she's 928th as a 16 to 17-year-old girl in North America East. Now, when I look at somebody who's like, hey, I want to go as an individual to semifinals, I look at that, like where they're at here in the North America East, so the region that they're in. And I would say my threshold is like saying, okay, 1 to 2 years, depending on the workouts, depending on your adaptations and your strengths and weaknesses, you got to be like 500 or better for me to say, hey, like it's going to take 1 to 2 years. It could take 3. And I mean, that's just an arbitrary, like what I've seen is like someone can go from like 500 really close to qualifying. I know it's 40 now, so it's a little bit tougher, but it doesn't take that long if your body adapts, you have talent, you got good genetics, you got the time and energy to train. So 928th is huge as a 16, 17-year-old girl in North America East who will jump to individual. That's amazing. There are a lot of girls who come in 1,000th and want to go to semifinals, and they're older. They've got some years under their belt. So that's really a good place to start for her. So now let's look at the age group quarterfinals, 27th, 70th, and 47th. I know that this age group quarterfinals, first year wall facing handstand push-ups, huge problem area for her.
Yeah.
This year, quarterfinals, also wall facing handstand push-ups, 47th. So she made improvement there alone. I can say that right off the bat because I saw that in person. We're going to look at her individual scores here in a minute. But trending positively. Now the workouts are always different, but it's just about you being fit across broad times, multiple domains against your peers. So you do want to see those trends. I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into them because again, the workouts are completely different from year to year to year. And like, you might get a good roll of the dice and not have a huge sticking point ever. Because let's say there was no wall facing handstand push-ups that year in 2023. So when she got the 70th, let's say that was better for her. Who knows where she would have been, and this might have been her better year out of the two.
Yeah.
All right, and then semifinals, 30th, 14 to 15, 2022, and 43rd. And we'll take a look at these. I do know in semifinals, 14 to 15, she missed semifinals this year in 2023. So this is better. Against the field of girls. I know obviously they all age up, but there's also some that are still lingering. It all depends on where you fall within the age and where that plays out. So we can look at those. So let's go back and we'll just look at 2024 and see if anything pops up for us. And we'll look at the open. I don't know if you guys knew that you could click on that and it takes you right to that year. So here's her 41st place. We got 180 reps in the first workout. Just finishing the workout in a school time of 9:40, which was the dumbbell snatch burpee over the dumbbell. And you look at the rest of her peers. We'll just sort this. That was weird. Why did that do that? Oh, no, that's okay. So she's up in the mix with these girls here, 9 minutes, 9 minutes, 9 minutes, 9:30, 9:30. And you can kind of just see that there's a tight little bottleneck of these times. And then you go to the first place here, and it's like that Lucy McGonigal and some of these other girls, you know, these are the top end ladies, 750. And those are like elite level individual female times, not just 16 to 17-year-old times. And then around, we'll say 49th place, you know, there's a minute differential. And when we're moving that fast in this workout, so 9:27 here, that minute's really not a whole lot of time. You know, there's 180 reps. So you add a second to every rep, or even half a second is 90 seconds. So if she moves half a second, quarter of a second faster on that workout, she now goes from that 940 to 10?
Yeah. 820 or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Right? We're talking about half a second. You know, it's like, that's something that like people don't look at, like how close that margin is. Let's go back. And then we'll look at the 29th place in the world for the 16, 17-year-old girls in 8 rounds, 210-meter row. Crushed this workout. That was the row deadlifts, double unders. And she had a rower go out on her. We switched it in the middle of the workout so she could have it, and had both rowers next to each other in the frame and everything. And we showed them both at the end. And like, man, she crushed that workout. The 29th worldwide. Nothing really to say there. That's great. Like okay. You are very good at high turnover. You know, her double unders have gotten really good, and she went unbroken for the most part on the deadlifts. Not a really strong puller from the floor generally. So this is a huge win for her. Looking back on it, huge win. And then 33rd in the thrusters and chest to bar, thrusters, bar muscle up, 9 rounds plus 6 reps. And I know she was probably upset because she got close to finishing and wanted to finish that workout, but still 33rd in the world in that workout. Awesome.
Yeah.
Nothing really to say there. Like, okay, you have gymnastics capacity. And then I also know that the 95-pound thruster is a limitation for her. We'll see that here in some of the other stuff. So let's look at age group quarterfinals. So moving on, looking at a broader depth and breadth of her tests and training. Pretty even across the board here, 85th, 84th, 51st, and 45th. So across 4 workouts, and then the other 3, so 7 total workouts, we're looking at, she's inside the top 50, give or take. Pretty consistent. You know, I don't see any red flags when I evaluate this athlete already, and as like having any severe holes of anything that we would be like, oh man, like that jumps out. You know, other than the stuff that I see, that Marissa and I see in person.
Yeah.
FYI, Marissa coaches her. I just watch a lot. Just watch a lot of people in the gym. 85th, 147 reps. What was the first workout? Quarters? Forget. We've done so many workouts now.
I know. I can't even remember. First workout of quarters. That was
Tyler, you remember what it was? Look it up.
I can't remember now.
Look it up while I talk. Well, we can move on because I know this one with the wall balls, burpee, box jump overs. Oh, I remember. It's the interval. Snatches, rowing, dumbbell box jump ups. 85th place for her. Huge. And, you know, you look at 85th to go 10 points. She had to do 2 more reps. You know, to go half, like basically half her score, to go to 49th place up here, you had to go 59 reps. So she had to do 12 extra reps. So in the rounds that you had to do, it was 4 rounds. You had to do 2 reps? Yeah, a rep per move. So one more snatch, 1 more box up, 1 more cow row. That's how tight it was.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely one of those workouts where it's like sneaking out every rep to the final second. You know, I think people's tendency is to stop 5 seconds and like, okay. And it's like, you like, this proves that you literally have to sneak out everything you can get because it's going to matter.
Yeah. And looking at her videos later on and asking her about it would be like, were you at maximum intensity? You know, okay, cool. So now for training, we can build harder 1-minute interval progressions or really maximize EMOM training. Like I think a lot of people, we can get into some of that of the training later, but moving on, either way, it was very tight, very good score. Doesn't have to do very much. Again, very good example of like, doesn't have to do much to get a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then 85th in the 2 rounds, 50 wall balls, 14 box jump overs. Most people got, you can see the people around her, 277. That's kind of the score that she got. To get 14th place, you would have finished 5 seconds before the time cap, right? She was pretty close because it is, how many, what's 50 minus 40, 14?
35, 30-ish.
300 total reps. So 36 reps.
Yeah, so 36 reps away. And I know it's burpee box jump overs, and that's about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of work. So it's kind of just looking back and increasing her rate of travel on everything. So global fitness, I think just general fitness would increase the score. Like you get more aerobically fit for her, especially. It's going to improve. She works on like plyo push-ups and keeping her feet connected to the ground in her burpees, because her burpees could improve a lot. She loses a lot of connection from the floor. So it's harder to press off the ground. And then you're slower, right? Because you're just like worming off the ground rather than explosively, powerfully pushing yourself off the ground, getting into the first jump. So there's some work to be done there, but that's just like general pressing power and fitness, which most females pressing power is a problem. So a lot of bench press stuff will help. And then, chest to bar or chest to wall handstand push-ups, 5 rounds plus 10 chest to wall handstand push-ups, 3 ring muscle ups. So again, another workout, 48th, they had the chest to wall handstand push-ups. She's been working on her ring muscle ups. I know this workout for her was something that she wanted to do better in the ring muscle ups. But with that success of the chest to wall handstand push-ups after all that work is really huge looking back. But again, 48th place, not bad. Most of the athletes that like were pretty close, like let's say the top 200, we're doing in the East, we're doing anywhere from 7 to 16 ring muscle ups. So like, I know it's a broad range, but that's kind of where they were at. And it was like, once you pass that threshold of ring muscle ups that mattered, you were just kind of in the group that gave you a pretty good score. So looking back in hindsight as a coach, I don't think it really mattered about the ring muscle ups. It was more of like, when did you get there? And what juice did you have left? Because in this scenario, all you had to do was like do something. Because we had a girl get 19.
Yeah.
And she did good, but that didn't help her that much because it would have been better if she just finished or did like less, because the way that it all played out. Again, you don't know that during, but now we do, and we have that data.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean that it would have been better if she did less? What does that mean?
So energy wise, but again, you don't know. So the way the point system works is you get, if 70, let's see, she got 48th. Okay. So 47 people did better than her. Doesn't matter what their score is.
Right.
So let's say from 47 to 32nd, they all got 134.
Okay.
You're only getting the 1 point for that.
Sure.
So there's like a huge bottleneck to jump those people, because you're just in the mix. To jump those people, you got to get 135. So they create on the leaderboard, because the way the point system is, it creates these huge bottlenecks, and you need to be either in the mix, because that's like the goal, or outside of that bottleneck.
So you're saying if she would have gotten 19th or 15 ring muscle ups, she probably would have only gotten 1 or 2 more points. Wouldn't have.
Yeah, you'd have to. You could go through. You can scrub the leaderboard and find out where those bottlenecks are. What I use that for as a coach is I then look at it and go, oh, well, this is the capacity of this, because it's a sample size. The open is a huge scientific experiment of performance capacity. And when you start boiling it down to individual characteristics, you can see where the bottlenecks are of like, okay, well, everyone got to the ring muscle ups. All right, well, these 1,000 women who train CrossFit regularly all the time only got 12 ring muscle ups. So after that work that they did, which in our case, all of our athletes got through that, like we'll use CrossFit, old school CrossFit words, buy-in. You bought into the ring muscle ups. There's also a tie break time for everybody's score. So Sophia, in a 15-minute workout, had 2 minutes and 11 seconds to do 3 ring muscle ups. I could go this girl above her. This girl above her had almost 3 minutes to do 3 ring muscle ups. You go, this girl got 30. Her tie break time was 10. She had 5 minutes and she did no ring muscle ups. So you can start looking at individual capacities. Like, you know that girl can rip through that work and has 5 minutes, can do no ring muscle ups. You know?
Yeah.
Let's see this girl at 141. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. She basically got 6 minutes and 14 seconds. And she only did, not only, 11 ring muscle ups though. So 11 ring muscle ups in 6 minutes is 2 a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So you now know the rate of travel that this girl, Julie, is moving at. And what that does is it helps you create constructs around the athletes that you're competing against. You now know, without seeing them in person, because there's a split time, their capacity of ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
Because the assumption is that you guys all get past the wall facing handstand push-ups. Now, then you can equate their rate of travel, because CrossFit was so nice to give us the split time. And now I got you. And I got you in every group, in every age, all around the world, who has a split time in that workout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. I got you. And all of our 3 watchers now know the secret. People are going to look at the leaderboard very differently now. And then 51st, clean and jerks, 5 clean and jerks. For those, Sophia had a huge strength deficit. Like, I think last year, Marissa's in the chat. Tell us, Marissa, what she snatched last year. 1RM, was it 135 a year ago? Was her snatch? And then like her clean and jerk was like 160 or something. Marissa's in the chat. She'll let us know. But she does have a comment here while we wait for that. Like, she put a lot of effort into getting the score, but didn't really get rewarded on the leaderboard. Could have put that effort in another event or punched through into another group. Yeah. So that's in reference to the ring muscle ups. Like, because the way the points work, like, and again, like I said, you don't really know where everyone's going to fall. But now that we have this data, if there are workouts, we know that like under fatigue, these girls are going to move at, the one girl that we looked up is going to move at about 2 ring muscle ups a minute. Okay. So you, as an athlete who know that girl's in your group, train at 3 ring muscle ups a minute. That girl got a good score. She was 14th. Like, okay, here we go. 2 years ago, she had a 115 squat snatch for Sophia. So 2 years ago, 115 squat snatch. And then her clean and jerk, you know, if you got a 115 squat snatch, you probably have like a 145 clean and jerk. So for her to do a 155-pound clean and jerk for 5 repetitions, and she had the other bars, what was it again? 10.
It was
105, 125, or was it 85, 125?
105, 125, 155. No, I don't.
Oh, the bar was like 165.
No, you're right. 105, 125, 145.
Tyler, look it
Or
up.
155, 165. 165 was the last bar.
You
right?
said a lot of numbers. Tyler, just look it up for us.
Well, no,
and
you
get
just
on
said
and tell us.
155 was the last bar. I think 165.
I think
was the last
165 was the last bar. Yeah.
bar. Then 150.
Tyler's going to look it up. So anyways, point is, she did 30 clean and jerks
No, I don't remember.
at a heavy barbell and 5 clean and jerks. I mean, you did the work. I know the men's weight.
Yeah. 105, 125, 145, 165.
I don't know. Tyler's going to look it up. All right. So for that, yeah, 165 was the last bar.
Yeah, yeah.
And 2 years ago, she had a 145 clean and jerk. So evaluating the test and her growth in there, like, that was her 1 rep max. And then she had to do that in the workout and then do the 165 in the last bar. Pretty crazy growth. All right, now let's look at her 43rd place. 13 heartbreaking spots to not going to the CrossFit Games. It's the way the cookie crumbles, though, you know? It's been a couple of weeks. We've all processed it. Our tears have been shed.
Yeah.
Now they're dry like a Sierra desert, full of hatred and anger.
Ready to get after it.
Yeah, ready to get after it. We're going to, your hatred fuels me. All right, so 37th, 78th, 46th, 35th. A big conversation is like, okay, this is the tests, or a body of tests that stings the most potentially, right? And it's the one that people are going to look at pretty quickly. Now, we have inside information because Sophia the workout that was 3, 6, 9, 12 front squat ring muscle up. You know, one of her pieces of feedback to her coach, like right off the bat, was that she wanted to improve her ring muscle up. And then Marissa was telling me that. I was like, oh, that's wildly incorrect. And I could see why. Like, obviously, you want to, it goes back to our conversation we started with. Like, people want to bring barbells to the track and do barbell workouts at the track, or like do barbell work under fatigue. And really, you're not looking at the actual problem, the underlying problem, or the thing that's holding you back, right? Because, like, yes, you're going to improve your ring muscle ups because hashtag CrossFit, like, they're not going anywhere. So you are going to work on that characteristic, that movement pattern, and all the things that come into play with that. But you still got 46th, you know? And if we're talking about the difference between going to the CrossFit Games and not going to the CrossFit Games, this right here, workout 2's the 78th place. You know, she's 473. And if she could get a 44th place, you know, that brings her down from 196 to around like 160, gets her in 33rd. You cross your fingers and hope that somebody gets some penalties. They out you in, you know? But well, yeah, looking at it, it's like, okay, right here. Now, I do want to highlight something, though, that I think could be pretty heartbreaking for a lot of people. I think she's right here. Yeah, 28th place. So check this out. Workout 1, 1836. Sophia, 1746. Workout 2, 639. Sophia, 473. Workout 954, and then 1121, and then 4 minutes and 401. So, like, looking at 28th place, you know, that first workout wasn't super impactful because 39th place, 37th place, Sophia beat her. And then this 46th and this 37th here. Like, look how much time you would have had to get back in this ring muscle up.
Yeah.
You know, 1121 and 9:55. It's almost 2 minutes of time back.
Well, 1:30.
Okay, 1:30, almost 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of time to get back in that workout.
Yeah.
And she did that workout twice. Sophia did that workout twice and got time back. I think she actually even got, I don't know, a fair amount back. But, you know, it's really interesting. You look at somebody who's 28th and you look at somebody in 43rd, and it's like, okay, so she beat her in the first workout. She beat her in the last workout, but then got beat in the 2 middle ones. And so it is like a huge toss-up of like what's really valuable as far as like scoring and getting in. But it is cool to see how close she was.
Yeah.
And that's what's wild, because you look at these top 50 girls and they're all very close within each other.
Well, I think like the thing that stands out to me a little bit when I look at like the open, quarters, semis, like in the open, I think her like hardest workout was the first one, the dumbbell snatch, the burpee over the dumbbell. And she got that 9-minute score. And I know we talked a lot about how that was like equating to like a mile run. Right. And then you come in and you look at this score here, the workout 2, which is the 20-minute AMRAP of the double unders, chest to bar, box jump, handstand push-ups. Right. And so like, I just look at that, like where it's like a lot of aerobic things for her specifically that I think,
Well, I think everyone.
Well, right. But she's really good at the skills. She's getting strong enough, right? Her strength is going up. And so it's like, if I were to look at that, like, I'm like, okay, that's one thing that I would like probably try to be working on. Right.
Yeah. And also, I mean, so yes, 100%. I mean, she did rip through the chest to bar, box jump, and double unders for her. The handstand push-up was like the sticking point that slowed her down. So still working on the strict handstand push-ups, the wall-facing handstand push-ups. I would say a inverted press or a hollow body press is very challenging for her. Upper body pressing in general across the board needs to be fixed. I would make that priority number 1.
Yeah.
And then, like you're saying, priority number 2, she needs general aerobic conditioning, volume tolerance conditioning. Like she needs to be able to move her body through space for 40 to 90 minutes. Obviously, the longer stuff, like 90 minutes, would be on a cyclical machine. The 40 minutes could be, you know, something similar to like what's so famous by HWPO, you know, the 40-minute EMOMs. But you got to earn that.
But then she also did really good in that rowing workout, in the rowing, which I know that was really challenging for her. So I know that has improved for her too, which is which is awesome.
Yeah, that's why I'd be priority number 2.
Yeah.
And then what's cool is like, yeah, her ring muscle up, you know, she improves her horizontal pressing, vertical pressing, hollow body pressing movements. Her ring muscle up press, her dip out will improve. And that can be also a supplemental work that's going to improve her ring muscle up. That's in the categorization of her horizontal pressing. I say horizontal pressing. I'm just saying pressing in general, horizontal, vertical, you know, both directions, vertical this way and then vertical that way, pressing down, pressing up, incline bench, decline bench, all the bench press.
Yeah.
Bench press every day. Don't do that. I'm just kidding.
Every other day.
Yeah. Some type of pressing every other day. Well, like you look at that and it's like, okay, so now you have like 2 priorities to work on for this athlete and evaluating where they're going to go, because you're still going to do CrossFit with this person. You're still going to do all the stuff. They're going to get exposure, all those things, because you're not going to stop any of those things, but you are going to set priorities that are going to skew the training. And let's just say you have an A, B, C, a D for the day. You know, your A, B, and C might be those limitation training for the off season. And then your D is something, or, you know, whatever makeup you want or whatever percentage of training you want to have it be. And just evaluating where she's at, like her performance. She's a very, very good CrossFitter.
Yeah.
And it's like she's good at everything. There are a few holes, and those holes ended up, you know, biting her a little bit. And I think if she was going to do something that allowed her to like hit a home run, you know, it's crazy. Like the 37th place that she got, she had a 2 years ago, a 115 snatch. She snatched 155 3 times.
Yeah.
Like that's huge. The growth she's made in Olympic lifting is huge.
Well,
so like,
pretty much tied for her best score, which is crazy.
Yeah. And then the second best score was
the last
toes to bar, power cleans, toes to bar, and thrusters, which knowing her, thrusters should be a primary lift for her. And like you could get creative with that in her training where it's like power clean, thruster, front squat, power clean, front squat, thruster. You do power cleans, push press, front squat, thruster, like complexes to try and pre-fatigue the thruster. You can also do battery. It's like max rep thrusters, rest, max rep thrusters. I have a lot of people do that for volume accumulation, you know, and it's specifically for her at that 95-pound loading. I think it's pretty interesting. Like sometimes when you do something like that, the loading parameters, you can go from like 85 to 105 and get a really good stimulus and never go outside that. And females would still be able to do a 125 thruster, even like a 145, because the force production within those ranges, it's just like a sweet spot of loading. I don't know why. Just over the years and years and years of watching people in GPP class, coaching athletes competitively, like there's some magic to the 85, like 105 barbell for women. There's
specifically in thrusters or
I would say across a lot of movements. Like the more volume you can build out and unbroken on those loadings, that window of loading, you just see a huge return. It's just, I think it's because you can move it fast enough, long enough for enough reps that you're building muscle endurance, strength, and power that are giving you like kind of like absolute speed and speed endurance and some strength endurance qualities across the strength continuum. Whereas it's not like, you know, improving your absolute strength and it's not improving your absolute speed, but it is improving the middle section. So it's similar to like dead zone training that people do in endurance that they don't really want to do all the time, instead of doing just the upper end and the lower end. So I don't know. It seems magical.
I like that.
Let's see. She did get a huge adaptation with the DT progression. Yeah. So 105 barbell cycling, it's cleans, deadlifts, press, you know, squat, press, dead, people. It's magic to those functional movements. But yeah, I don't know. The barbell, for whatever reason, females 85 to 105, if you're moving that and you're moving it well, there's a high likelihood you're going to be able to be successful in a lot of barbell work. Plus, it's the most classic loading for barbells. Yeah. Until recently, I guess the new loading is 125. Yeah. Based on the teams, individuals, and even the
front squats, 125 every day.
Well, yeah, but even the 125, 185 at semifinals for the individuals in the 800-meter run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how far are we into this? All right, 50 minutes in. You still watching? If you're a male athlete or female athlete, I would highly recommend training a 125 barbell, 185 barbell, almost solely
Yeah.
in your Metcons.
Yeah.
Yes, Marissa, I know the 155 front squat at semifinals, but we're just talking about general barbell cycling. Okay. And actually, that's a good point though. The way that you can get good at that 155, because they got to do, was it 50 reps? Just 7 rounds. How many rounds is that workout that they got to do at semifinals?
That was
5 rounds, so 50 reps of fit
Yeah.
because it's 10 reps.
Yeah.
Every time they got to do the biking, toes to bar, front squat. Is it biking, toes to bar, front squat? Get all mixed up now because they're all the same freaking workouts.
Marissa said, "Is that not cycling a barbell?" Well, yeah.
I mean,
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. I just don't think of it. I think of cycling a barbell when you got to move it a long distance. So you got to take it from the shoulders back to the ground, back to the shoulders as like one repetition. So however tall you are to your shoulders, back down on the ground, back up, versus like just having it sit on the shoulders and you squat, you're only moving it about a foot, give or take, depending on the person. Take your level 1, okay? She says she's a giraffe, which is not, she's not wrong. If you are tall, you're moving the barbell farther and squatting. If you're short, like Colt Murns, you're moving the barbell less distance and applying less force. All right. Well, so for Sophia, just going over her stuff, I mean, it's great. It's phenomenal. Like there's a lot to be proud of. And obviously the things that jump out, quickly, like Heather and I said, is working on the inverted pressing, horizontal pressing, that type of stuff, and her general aerobic capabilities paired with a general CrossFit program. And her sticking points really are that press stuff, but you look historically at the other things. Like let's go back. Let's go to her profile. Let's see. What do you guys want to go to this one? 2022. Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, we'd have to remember what the open is. All right. Wall walks, 10 rounds, wall walks. And what? Oh, that was double unders.
Then they had the one was like the burpee pull up one and the shuttle runs, right?
Oh, that was last year. Let's do that.
Oh,
one.
that was last year.
Let's do that one. Let's take a look at this one because I had the thruster too. So now we could look. Here we go. 142 thruster. There it is.
Mm.
So that's a huge thing to look at. She did the clean and jerks. She did 95-pound thrusters this last year. Like that's a huge improvement from 1 year.
Yeah, that's great.
And then 16th.
Thanks, Sophia. You're crushing it.
Double unders. Said double unders. But then also this too, snatch workout. So, man, what was the loading for that? So it was 15 snatch. I believe it was 65. And then it was 95. So that's also another thing too, is like this workout here on the end with the wall walks, double under snatches, wall walks, double under snatches, and then strict handstand push-ups. She didn't get through the 20.
Yeah.
So still plaguing her. Gotten better, but still plaguing her.
Yeah.
Those handstand push-ups. And then like over here in the first workout, she got 6 ring muscle ups after the cow row, toes to bar, wall balls, cleans. Got 6 ring muscle ups. I mean, man, muscle ups is good. She got good muscle ups.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Because what was that? That was 20, right? Was the final?
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
But so like that's the other thing too. If you're looking at your field of people or yourself and you want to see some information, like go to this workout from 2023, first open workout, and then go to the quarterfinals workout number 2, excuse me. And you can compare those and see where people are at as far as their, was it 2?
No, it was 3.
3, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah. Workout 3 from quarterfinals is last year, 2024. Workout 1 from the open 2023. Yeah. And you can look at like different fatigue based, and there's a time, I think it was the same time domain. Wasn't 15 minutes or was it 20 minutes?
For the one for this year?
Well, this year was 15. What was 23? It was 15, wasn't it?
I think it is 15. Yeah.
Yeah. So similar time domain, pre-fatigue, nice little tie break. It's good. Solid. Good. Yeah. This is a lot of good info. Sweet. So yeah, looking at an athlete, going over their historical information of events. You could do this for, doesn't have to be the Open, could be other competitions you've done, and diving deep into what is their what's their sticking point. What do you see in their training, and what do you see in their competition? What gets manifested when you don't get to choose what they get to do every day, and then use that as like, okay, what are the things that I'm going to focus in on, and then work towards in the off season.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Good evaluation. Good little athlete. You guys think she'll make it to semifinals?
Yeah.
Probably. Give her enough time. All right. Anything else? Any questions? We got 4 people viewing us. This was good. Marissa gave her a shout out. 13th in the U.S. and 8th in the East. West got to step it up. Ooh. Shots fired. Man, that is true, though. Because there was only 5 people. So
What do
it's
you mean
funny.
5 people?
Because she was 13th in the U.S., but she was like 8th
Oh.
in the East. So only 9, 10, 11,
Yeah,
12,
yeah,
13, 5
yeah,
people
I see.
in the West beat her.
Yeah.
And 7 people in the East beat her. Cool. Good evaluation. Performance evaluation. That's how you do it. You just look at it. Don't look at your ranks. Like your ranks, I only look at for seeing if you're like even across, and then you look for the outliers, obviously. Like how she was like pretty much like 30th, 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 and then had one of the 70th place ones. You look at that and go, okay, well, why? And then dive into that and break it down. You can do that across the board. Looking at growth, positive growth. Why is someone growing? Look at people around you in those groups. Start to get to know people. You can look at their scores too and try to figure out the same thing. Because like if you can evaluate yourself from a leaderboard pretty easily, you can start evaluating other people, which then gives you context of like who you have to become, what things you need to improve on, where are the areas of opportunity for maximum points. So it goes way beyond just like building your fitness.
Yeah.
And you got to do that too, but it was good.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us do that, Sophia.
Yeah, she crushed it. It's cool to see.
You guys have anything to add?
Got to get to work.
I mean, we'll do the after next week. We might take next week off, give everybody a break because it'll be the team. We're going out to the team for semifinals and everything else. And then, but we do need to do an off-season podcast to explain like how to structure training, what things to do. So it's good to have the evaluation of like now, okay, we have some information. We know that she's got to do some pressing. We know that she definitely needs to do some aerobic endurance work and make that a little bit further out. Because she definitely, I mean, you've watched her, Heather, she breaks down as things get pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's because she's like redlined.
Yeah.
And she's got nowhere to go. So she's either got to hang on to the red line and hope that she doesn't explode or just drop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So got to improve that. Raise the ceiling, as they say.
Don't worry, Sophia. I'm in that boat too.
Got to raise the ceiling. And then see where it goes. I mean, again, a lot of CrossFit, but some people it's a little bit different. You look at people in the gym and it's very easy to watch them like in a couple of classes and like, oh, I know what your problem is.
Yeah.
You're not strong. How about we just do strength? Or like, oh, you have like no. I always ask people like, what'd you do? Like high school, college, any sports or anything? Or like, when people come into our gym, we have them fill out an intake and ask them their sport history, athlete history, injuries, that kind of stuff. And we look at it and we see who you are coming into the gym. And I already know, like, depending on the sport, I'll be like, oh, yep, you're not going to be very good at X, Y, and Z. Because that's the other thing too. People don't realize that there are a lot of like specific sports adaptations when you play a specific sport that you're only going to get X, Y, Z things. And then you get other, like soccer player, obviously it's the easiest one. You have an aerobic engine. Those people come in and they can run for days and nothing, burpees don't slow them down, box jumps don't, anything plyometric, ballistic, with their feet. They're good at double unders, like right off the bat. But you give them a heavy ass barbell squat cleans and they are effed unless they have a background in strength training. 99% of the time. I would love it. Give me a soccer player who thinks that they could stand up to that challenge, and I'll give them the regional workout from 2013, row, pistols, hang cleans, and they will just get destroyed.
Am I the outlier?
You play defense. Just kidding.
But I'm not aerobic, but I'm strong, so that's really weird.
It's your body type.
No.
Genetics play a role. You got big old ham hocks, dude.
No, that's
I don't know.
true.
It depends. But yeah, when I'm talking about the prototypical
I know. I'm teasing.
soccer player. You are definitely not. That's actually interesting. You are not. Like, you should talk to Victoria and say, am I like the prototypical soccer player? And she's going to tell you no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got good.
Yeah.
That'd have been cool to watch you play soccer back in the day. I think Kelsey Keels played soccer also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Cool. I'm excited for the off-season podcast. We're going to take notes for that one. Get it going.
Yeah.
This one I already do because I do this every day. Evaluate athletes. Figure out where their holes are. And to Heather's point, and I remember, you don't have to fill those holes too. Like, if you enjoy doing fitness, like, you don't necessarily have to progress. You do need to sustain and continue and like look at the long term over time, especially for health. Because I know we have a lot of people who listen to this for health and longevity. Like, just the goal is to come in and train every day until you're dead.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And in the process of that, you're going to progress, you're going to get better. And like, you can pick little goals and things, but don't obsess over it, unless you want to. And that's fine too. Like, we did Murph last weekend.
Yeah.
And I was going to write a huge post about this, but it's like too long form. So I might do a blog of just generally, like, I won't tell you everything, but I had someone come up to me, and we had a lot of people actually come up to me and be like, I've never done Murph before. This is my first time. I was like, what? That's crazy. You didn't say anything until now? Well, congratulations. And then we had a lot of people, do Murph the only Murph, 1 mile run, 100 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, 1 run, in that order.
Mm-hmm.
That's Murph.
Unpartitioned.
That's not even a thing. That's not a thing. Go to CrossFit.com and look it up on.com when it's been posted.
I get it.
It's not a thing. There's no such thing. Murph is what I just said.
I know.
Okay. Anyways, get off. I'm going to get off that. But yeah, doing it all the way through like that, the way it's written on .com. They were really proud of that. But I did have some people who were upset and want to improve and want to start earlier in their Murph prep, and like asked to start like in January to start Murph prep because they want to do well. And I love it. I'm hyped. That one got me. I was like, fuck yeah. Because that is what we preach all the time and try to get people to do, is like, if you're going to do this thing, you might as well try to do it well. And even if you don't do well during the thing, at least you put in the preparation and you engage in the process to do well. Whether you do well or not doesn't really matter. It's the fact that you were upset by it and said, Coach, next year, let's start in January. I want to build the volume tolerance and resiliency to be better at Murph when it comes in May. That's great. I love it. That's what I want more out of people. It's like, man, I got really smashed by this thing. I don't, it's not like, oh, tomorrow, next workout, see you later. Ha ha.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I got crushed by it. Why? And how do I fix it? That's like huge value to me. And I'm glad that there are people in our gym learning that lesson and engaging in the process of, hey, coach, I want to get better at this. Then we give them information. We give them practice. We give them drills. They get better. They practice. They get feedback. They talk. Go back and forth. They do the work. We build them again. They do the work. We build them again. That's the process.
Yeah.
And they enjoy that, learn to love it. Then they get better. They get the result, and they move on, and then find something else to tackle. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's really fun when you can come into any class, CrossFit gym around the world, look at the whiteboard, and do everything exactly the way that it was written, and need zero help from the coach. That's the coach should still help you. Everything else, like, we won't get into that. Yeah. But my mission is that I want people to evaluate their performance, Let us help them so then they can do that.
Yeah.
And then competitors compete at the highest level and try to win medals.
Well, full circle, that's what makes it fun in a
Yeah.
sense, right?
Well,
Because
yeah,
you
'cause
can't do all the things, right?
It's not fun to go in and do ring rows when you should be doing bar muscle ups. It's just not fun.
Right. Right.
From someone who can do both,
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's more fun to do bar muscle ups in a workout than it is doing ring rows. Tell you, if you have to do ring rows because that's where you're at, I understand, but it's not more fun than doing bar muscle ups.
Yeah.
Hands
Yeah.
down. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we'll get you there. I want to get you there. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I'm gonna get you there. So
Mhm.
if you want to do bar muscle ups and have more fun than ring rows and inverted rows on the bar, I'm gonna help you with that. It's not a bad thing. It just I'm gonna help you. It's just more fun flying around the bar like you're a monkey,
Yeah.
flying through the air. I'm gonna start pointing at people. I'm gonna get on top of the bar and like point at people. Like, oh, it's having more fun than you.
Don't
Just
do that.
gym bullying people.
Don't do that.
I'm just
You can
kidding.
do that in
I'm just kidding.
your private training.
Yeah, by myself. I'm just kidding. No, it is more fun though to be able to do all the stuff and not feel hindered. Like I feel that way too. There are times where I see workouts where I'm like, oh my God, like I can't do, so many semifinal workouts. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not doing that workout. That's not fun. I just do a different workout.
Yeah.
Not for me. It's
Yeah.
okay. But inside I'm like, man, I wish like I could train a little more to do that workout.
Yeah.
It would be good.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Renata someday. See, she wants to get up on the bar and point at people and go, oh, I'm having more fun than you.
We're getting her there. We're working.
I
on
love it. Well, a big HA. She's laughing hard. I love it. All right, guys. That was good. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I don't want to be a baby. We'll do it next week. Somebody who's watching right now, give us a topic to talk about next week because I'm going to be brain dead after semifinals. But we'll get on.
Yeah.
Give me a topic right now.
All right.
And then we'll get off. First come, first serve. Because Ronnie, you got on here. Come on, give us a topic, man. Nothing? Crickets. Guess
We'll
got
give them time. They can DM us.
There you go. DM us.
Think about it.
All right. Well, our other challenge to you is go back, do an evaluation on yourself. You could also DM us or find us in the gym and tell us what you think about your evaluation and what you really need to work on. Be a cool conversation to have. And see you guys next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll get all our lovely faces and episodes. Hooray. Bye.
Bye.